At a recent ECFR-MENA event in our London offices, experts gathered to discuss the ongoing crises in the Middle East and how they can be solved. Particular attention was paid to what role the EU could and should take. Some believe that the individual national interests of EU countries in the region hinder them from stepping up.
I think probably the European Union was not able to do many things. First, because it was probably relying too much about other actors, including mainly the United States, regional actors, and some other, people. Because it's first. The second, that there are divergences between different policies of certain European states. So for France, Syria is more important than for some other, like for Germany, in my view, and probably for the UK, which is more or less, working together with in alliance with the United States. But France is clearly trying to pursue its own, geopolitical goals, and given the proximity of history and the colonial heritage of being responsible for the French mandate and on Syria and so on and so forth. But in general, the lack of common strategy on Syria, divergences, and also the lack of cooperation with regional actors prevented the EU of playing an important role towards Syria. And probably there was no political will to risk its interests with the regional actors.
Many believe that the prospect for Syria in 2016 doesn't look much better.
Probably the post-conflict era in Syria will be a very good field for using the capacity of the European Union to rebuild Syria, because now we don't know who is going to rebuild this country, where I don't know how many percent of its infrastructure, of its housing and everything has been destroyed during this war, and where the people are, and also the importance of helping Syrians to come back to their own country from the refugee camps in Turkey, in Jordan, in Lebanon, whether these people are able to come back, where there will be a place for them in Syria to live again. And I think it will also help the Europeans to solve the refugee crisis. The emerging crisis in relationships with between, for instance, Saudi Arabia and Iran can prevent any sort of quick solution for Syria. And even the beginning of the inter-Syrian talks prescribed for the 25th of this month of January is problematic because of this deep crisis in the relationship between Iran and Saudi Arabia. I personally, as of today, for me it's very difficult to imagine that the Iranians and Saudis can sit together at one table. But it's absolutely necessary to kick off the process of inter-Syrian talks.